Music's glamorous scene is a great place to meet new people and form strategic partnerships. However, tragedy has the potential to break even the closest of friendships. This is the situation with two members of the popular hip-hop group Migos, Offset and Quavo. Takeoff's untimely demise has left an irreplaceable hole in the group. There have been allegations of a rift between Offset and Quavo ever since this tragic death. This video looks into the specifics of Quavo's death, Offset's response to it, and ultimately the reasons why Offset hates his former buddy and partner so much. So let's jump into it together. Experiencing the death of a loved one is among life's most harrowing ordeals. It leaves an everlasting imprint on your whole being and shocks you to your very core. It was the same in the tragic end of Quavo. In a terrible turn of circumstances, Quavo, a great artist and member of the famous hip-hop trio Migos, departed suddenly, leaving fans and other artists reeling in despair. The death of Quavo shocked the entire music business. The death of such a dynamic and important man left fans in disbelief. Quavo's music has gone global, and his charismatic personality and distinct sound had made him a household name. His untimely passing left a gaping hole that will never be replaced. Looking back on Quavo's life, we can see that his influence went well beyond the realm of music. He was more than just a talented artist. He was a brother, friend, and guide to those who were closest to him. The death of a much-loved person creates a void that cannot be adequately spoken of or comprehended. It's crucial that, in the aftermath of this tragedy, we all take a moment to reflect on the amazing skill and happiness that Quavo shared with the world via his music. Let us remember him not by concentrating on our sadness at his loss, but by sharing in the joy of his accomplishments. Despite his untimely passing, Quavo will always be remembered as a musical legend who made an unforgettable impression on the globe. As we continue our investigation into how Offset feels about Quavo in the wake of Takeoff's death, it is important to bear in mind the devastating effect that the loss of a loved one, such as Quavo, may have on those still living. How grief may shape our feelings and our worldview are not always immediately apparent. Offset felt a physical blow when he heard about Quavo's untimely passing. Countless hours spent together in the studio and on stage had built a strong relationship between these two Migos members. Offset was at first shocked and confused by the news that his buddy and fellow rapper had passed away. Offset's sorrow hit him like a wave when the news finally sunk him. He was struggling with conflicting feelings of grief, indignation, and bewilderment. It's never easy to lose a loved one, but it may sting much more to say goodbye to a trusted friend and fellow musician. Not only had Offset lost a good buddy, but they'd also lost a crucial cog in the wheel of their musical career. Offset avoided the spotlight in the wake of Quavo's death. He retreated into his own company and found comfort in music. He found solace in the recording studio, where he poured his soul into each song. It was clear that this tragedy had left a lasting impression on him. Offset's grief at Quavo's passing is evidence of how much their friendship meant to both of them. This perspective allows us to see the many layers that made up their friendship and the fight that eventually drove a wedge between them, altering the group dynamic inside Migos. Examining the complicated history of Offset and Quavo's relationship will provide light on why Offset dislikes Quavo in the wake of Takeoff's death. They were part of the legendary hip-hop group Migos alongside the late Takeoff, who was also a rapper. For a long time, nobody could compete with their fresh sound and catchy rhythms. However, Quavo and Offset's tensions started to escalate behind the scenes. The formerly unbreakable tie between them began to weaken as a result of creative disagreements and personal issues. Despite keeping their differences under wraps, there were rumblings of brewing animosity in the business. It's vital to remember that Takeoff's death was not the lone catalyst for this dispute. Instead, it stoked the flames of hostility between Quavo and Offset that had been there for some time. The death of their close friend and bandmate just added fuel to the fire. It seemed like Quavo and Offset grew apart as fans grieved Takeoff's sudden demise rather than becoming closer to each other. Their sadness became anger as they began to detest one another for different reasons. Whether it was a battle for creative control or simple personality clashes, the pair eventually found themselves at loggerheads. The feud between Quavo and Offset exemplifies how stress can weaken even the strongest of relationships. It's a sobering reminder that money and power can't buy you love and happiness forever. As we go further into this issue, we will learn more about the circumstances that precipitated Offset's sudden loathing of Quavo in the wake of Takeoff's untimely death. Since Takeoff's untimely demise, Offset's emotions have been all over the place. Experiencing the death of a loved one may send you on a roller coaster of emotions. Offset's sadness has unfortunately led him to develop a deep animosity against his bandmate Quavo. It's vital to keep in mind that the grieving process looks different for everyone. Some people may find comfort in the love and understanding of their family and friends during these difficult times, while others may find themselves consumed by bitterness and hatred. Offset seems to fit within the second group. The reasons behind Offset's sudden animosity against Quavo are intricate and personal. It seems that, for better or worse, he blames Quavo for Takeoff's premature end. Maybe Offset wants someone to blame for his grief, or maybe he and Takeoff had unresolved problems before he died. It is essential to address this issue with sensitivity and compassion, regardless of the grounds behind Offset's hostility towards Quavo. Grief has a way of obscuring perception and leading one down unanticipated avenues. We, as onlookers, should keep in mind that Offset's pain and how it has influenced his present outlook are not something we can completely understand. Even though it's sad to see Offset and Quavo fighting after Takeoff's passing, it's important to remember the significant influence sorrow can have on a person's emotions and relationships. Instead of letting their hurt drive them further apart, we pray that they may eventually put their differences aside and work together to celebrate Takeoff's life. The death of Quavo has had a catastrophic effect on hip-hop culture. There will never be anyone to replace the shoes of such a gifted artist and a magnetic figure who has passed away. Tensions have increased and emotions have run hot since this incident. The loss of Quavo has had a significant effect on Offset, both as brothers and as members of the groundbreaking rap trio Migos. Offset and Quavo have a special affinity. They had an unmistakable connection both live and in the studio, and their music connected with people all over the globe. The tragic loss of Quavo, however, altered the dynamic. The weight of Offset's and Quavo's anguish and uncertainty started to weaken their previously unbreakable relationship. While it is normal for anyone to feel angry and resentful after a loss, Offset's feelings appear to have taken an unusually dark turn. Because of his grief at his cousin's death, Offset now despises Quavo. A mixture of shame, remorse, and unresolved concerns from before Quavo's death appears to be at the root of this deep hostility. Offset is experiencing a wide range of feelings, some of which he may not fully understand or be able to put into words. As we learn more about this situation, it becomes clear that there is more going on than it first seems. Quavo and Offset's conflict go far deeper than their creative differences, or even their ties as blood brothers. These issues have come to a head in the wake of Quavo's death, shocking fans and industry insiders alike with the depth of Offset's sudden animosity for his cousin. In sum, Quavo's death has had far-reaching repercussions for his loved ones. This catastrophe has caused a sea change in Offset's mental and emotional state. It is crucial to approach the investigation of Offset's sudden hate of Quavo with compassion and understanding. It is important to tread carefully around this delicate topic, since the sadness of losing a loved one may emerge in unexpected ways. That's all for today's video, guys. If you like our content, feel free to subscribe to the channel, share, and hit the notification bell to get the latest news from us. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.